Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. It's a wonderful Friday evening, and in this video, I'll be sharing my thoughts on episode 2 of Ready to Love Miami. Now I know I said I'll be posting these reviews on Saturdays, but tonight I had some free time, and I thought I'd get a head start. But next week, I should be back to my regular posting schedule. So without any further delay, let's jump into this review. This episode kicks off with the cast members meeting for brunch, and Nephew Tommy tells everyone that one of the women will be eliminated by the end of the brunch. Now in the back of my mind, I'm asking myself, why couldn't they just make this elimination decision last episode? But that's neither here nor there. Nephew Tommy also lets everybody know that Looney tested positive for COVID and she will be sitting this week out. And again, I had to ask myself if Calvin was given the same opportunity before he left the show last week. But with Dominica and Charisse being given a second chance to impress the men, the two ladies waste no time trying to charm them. But the problem at hand is that these two ladies were at the bottom for very specific reasons, and their efforts to charm the men were pretty pointless, because by the end of the brunch, they were both nominated for elimination yet again, and Dominica was the one that got the axe. I wish I could say that I was surprised, but I wasn't, because I predicted that she would be the first of the women to go. At this stage of the game, the cast members are mostly relying on looks, age, and first impressions to decide whether they get rid of somebody or not, and unfortunately, Dominica was already working behind the 8 ball. But during this segment of the show, I think there were several things worth mentioning. I think Charisse all but proved that she is not on the show to find love. The whole back and forth that she had with Dominica about the flaws that she thought Dominica had was pretty rough to watch. Then there was the whole back and forth that she had with the other woman about how much of a catch she was, and that was also awkward to watch. To me, it seems like she is on the show to simply win the game, and the way that she undercut the other woman to get to the men was definitely problematic to say the least. The cast members will definitely remember that in the future episodes to come. I think that Brandy and Mike look great together, and I think they may be starting to form a connection, but it's still too early to tell how far they will go. Now when I saw Kayla and Justice get into a debate about the decision to date multiple people, I said to myself, yes, this is the Kayla that I'm used to seeing. And sure enough, the argument that she had with Justice was enough for him to nominate her to get eliminated. With what I saw this episode, I'm still pretty confident that Kayla will be going home in the middle part of the season. But with Dominica being eliminated, the women now have the power to eliminate one of the guys. The first one-on-one worth mentioning was Jamala and Swayze. Once again, Jamala has a body that's so blessed, one look will have you speaking in tongues. Idio Boshe, Wosharaba. Glory to God. So they meet up at a restaurant, and for the most part, Jamala is interrogating Swayze on his relationship history. I think that there's definitely a mutual attraction with these two, but I also think that Swayze is in high demand with a number of the other women. We then see Shakira and Samson meeting outside for their date. Samson brings Shakira an aloe plant as a present, and the brothers really laying it on thick when it comes to the conversation and the eye contact. I was waiting for Samson to break out and start singing Keith Sweat's greatest hits, but he still made a good impression on Shakira, and in my opinion, I think Samson is going a little too hard a little too soon, at least for a show like this. This show has been known to penalize cast members who move like Samson, and if he's moving the same way with other women, or he's not showing them the attention that they think they deserve, then his goose is pretty much cooked. Now later on in the episode, Charisse hosts Taco Tuesday, and she invites Devin, Randall, Justice, LJ, as well as Trinika, Brandy, and Kadian. The one standout cast member for this scene, as well as the episode as a whole, has to be Trinika. She's killing every outfit that she wears, and she's giving me Liz energy from the Houston season. Throughout this madness of a group outing, I think the most important thing worth mentioning is how Devin fumbled the ball, and how Charisse was put on the spot for referring to Randall as a king. You see folks, Devin is the can't get right of this season. The boy just can't get right. He has no game, no swag, and he's very socially awkward. In my opinion, he would have made it to the finale by not saying anything the entire season. But every time he opens his mouth, the women around him start to dry up, and that's not a good look. He reminds me of a less goofy version of Corey from the DC season. But nothing else really happened for this scene. Next we have a scene where Kayla invites Mike, Swayze, Zoe, Jamala, and Shakira out for bowling. Jamala really didn't have much to do for this outing, but Kayla used the opportunity to interrogate the guys and make them compete over her. I was proud of Zoe for flirting with Shakira and showing her how to bowl, but I think her first choice is Samson, and unfortunately, I think Shakira might be Zoe's only connection. The women then meet with nephew Tommy for deliberation, and they nominate Justice, Devin, and Mike for elimination. Justice was nominated solely because he had the argument with Kayla. Mike was nominated due to his conflicting statements about wanting to have kids, and Devin was nominated because he just couldn't get right. And guess who was eliminated this week? Devin, of course. Now, in my opinion, this elimination will have some ramifications. Devin was Charisse's only connection, and because the men have the power to eliminate next week, I think the men will nominate Charisse, April, and Kadian as their bottom three, and either Charisse or April will be going home. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give this episode a 3. It was foolishness, and the quality of the show is definitely in the toilet right now. But this marks the end of my review. If you have any questions or comments about the review or the episode, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to respond to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.